Hey YouTube, Anthony here with an updated Penta Tarp net tent design. This particular net tent is for a customer. I made a Penta Tarp in Coyote Brown to go with it. Finished weight of this net tent is 10.5 ounces. This particular tarp weighs 8.8 ounces with the guy lines, so the total without stakes and stuff sacks is 19.3 ounces. I'll go over the materials I used in a minute. I receive emails regularly from customers wanting the net tent to go with the Penta Tarp. It's been difficult lately finding the time to finalize the design, make templates, and prototype while working 2 jobs and taking care of 3 kids. But I figured, what the heck, I have to do it, so I accepted the job, and here it is. I used a 1.1 Silpoly for the floor, a 0.67 ounce no-seam mesh, a number 3 coil zipper, and I also used a nylon bias binding tape for the seams. So I've made a couple changes from the last video I posted. The most noticeable is the door. I went from a rainbow door to an L-zip. So I've gotten pretty good at sewing zippers, although I still need a little more practice keeping the zipper flat on this 8-inch radius curve. I went with a number 3 coil on this as the customer wanted to keep the total weight under 20 ounces. Using a more durable number 5 would add about 1 ounce to the total weight. For the floor, I went with 1.1 Silpoly and a 0.67 ounce mesh for the walls. So I also used a 3/4 inch nylon bias binding tape over grow grain to save weight. It also saved about 1 ounce. The nylon bias tape weighs half of what grow grain does, but also stretches, which cause some complications. I also added a shark cord loop and a tent toggle to keep the door open. So I opted to attach the peak of the net tent to the pole, although I could easily add a loop to the tarp. This is simple 1/8 inch shot cord with a cord lock and a mitten hook. Cord over the end, tighten it up. The 1/8 inch shot cord actually holds very well in the cord lock, so there's very little chance of this slipping. You'd have to pull it really hard. So I'd add this little clip to my pole before I set up the tarp. So once my tarp is set up, I stake it out and do all my adjustments. Then I can just come and clip in the tent. Then the corners of the net tent clip on to the corners of the tarp with mitten hooks. And these are line lock tension lights. So I think 2 other additions that I'm going to do on this particular one and moving forward, I think I'm going to put a little loop here to add a little tension and maybe bring a little bit more room to the interior. And I think also I need to cut more curve into these back corners to make these panels a little bit tighter. Okay, so here's the Penta Tarp net tent without the tarp. There's a number of different ways that you can attach it. I just looped the guy line around here that I took off the tarp. Another thing you can do is just tie your line directly to the top of your net tent and use a clove hitch, which is the way I'd usually do it. I also came up with this different contraption that goes over the top. Also uses a 1/8 inch shot cord and cord lock that you can leave on your pole and use it several different ways. I've been kind of playing around with this for a little while. I'm not sure how I feel about it. It weighs about, I think about 8 grams. So down on the bottom, I have an extra loop, and this could be used to either stake it to the ground or to add a second line to your stake if you want the bottoms to be squared like that. So here's a total rundown on the specs. Weighs 10.5 ounces, measures 32 inches wide by 8 feet long by 45 inches high. Has a 4-inch bathtub around the sides and rear with 12 inches in the front to protect from splash. So I have a few products on my website, WildGearDesigns.com. I'll probably be adding this one shortly. I'll probably make a few more first, get my my templates redone so I can add a little bit more curve to the back and kind of refine my technique. I'll probably also offer a standard version with a 1.6 ounce Hyper D floor, as well as this ultralight version with the 1.1 ounce Silpoly floor. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email, Anthony at WildGearDesigns.com. I'm Anthony. Thanks for watching. Take care.